Now let's take a look at a citizenship interview where the applicant is requesting a medical disability exemption. An individual is eligible for this waiver if he or she is unable to learn and or demonstrate knowledge of English and or U.S. history and civics because of a physical or developmental disability or mental impairment or combination of impairments. These disability or impairments must result from anatomical, physiological, or psychological abnormalities which can be documented by medically acceptable clinical and laboratory diagnostic techniques. The disability and or impairment must result in functioning so impaired that an individual would be unable to demonstrate required knowledge. The applicant completes the top of the form, and the rest of the form is completed by a licensed medical doctor, doctor of osteopathy, licensed clinical psychologist, psychiatrist, or neurologist. These forms are usually filed as an attachment to the citizenship application or as a supplement to Form N-400 after the initial filing of the application for naturalization or at the time of interview. If the form is submitted at the time of interview, the officer may not make a decision on the case as he may want more time to review all of the documents you have submitted. The physician must complete the waiver within 6 months of the date the application is filed. A properly submitted N-648 remains valid indefinitely unless it is denied. Applicants requesting a medical disability waiver are usually accompanied to the interview by a family member or friend who translates for them. They may also seek representation through an attorney or accredited representative at the interview. Let's look in on the citizenship interview of Ludmila Larina, a 72-year-old woman from Russia who has a history of strokes and vascular dementia. She brought her niece, Galina, to translate for her. Ms. Larina also sought the representation of Lisa Thomas, an accredited representative.
Ms. Thomas, may I see your G28?
Of course.
Very well. I see the applicant requested a medical disability waiver. Do you have the original waiver?
I have additional evidence I'd like to submit today. This is the MRI confirming the diagnosis of stroke and the vascular dementia.
I would like to take a few moments to read this. Does she live alone?
No, she lives with her daughter. She is not able to take care of herself.
Does she speak any English at all?
Very few words.
How long has she had this condition?
The neurologist reports that the initial diagnosis was made in 2003 after reviewing the MRI of the brain and clinical testing confirming dementia. I believe the results of the testing were included in the waiver.
I will accept the waiver and allow her niece to translate for her aunt. But if I feel that she is elaborating on the answers or making them up herself, I will stop the proceedings immediately. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Please ask her to stand and raise her right hand, and ask her if she swears to tell the truth.
Пожалуйста, встаньте, поднимите правую руку. Согласны ли вы, клянетесь ли вы говорить правду?
Да, конечно.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Be seated, please.
Спасибо, садитесь, пожалуйста.
What is your name?
Ваше имя?
Людмила Ларина.
Людмила Ларина.
Where do you live?
Где вы живете?
Медисон Стрит.
The officer accepted the waiver because the certifying medical professional had appropriate experience and qualifications enabling her to diagnose and assess the claimed disability or impairment. In addition, the physician provided a diagnosis and described the impairment in terms a person without medical training could understand. And finally, the doctor provided detailed information on the connection between the disability and the applicant's ability to learn and/or demonstrate English and U.S. history and civics. The rest of the interview is conducted similar to the prior interview, but the officer does not administer the history test to the applicant. The applicant signs the same certificates and is sworn in at the oath ceremony. Those applicants 55 and over who are permanent residents and who have lived in the United States for at least 15 years have different requirements from history and government knowledge. They may be tested in the language of their choice because they are exempt from the English literacy requirements. Applicants who are 50 years old and over must live in this country for 20 years as a permanent resident in order to take the history test in the language of their choice. USCIS should provide a translator for you at the interview, but it is wise to bring someone along with you who is fluent in English and the language you wish to be tested in, just to be on the safe side. In the spring of 2008, USCIS is planning to implement a new naturalization exam. The test will emphasize the fundamental concepts of American democracy and the rights and responsibilities of citizenship. The reading and writing portion of the proposed new English test is similar to the existing test. Applicants will have up to 3 chances to read and write a sentence correctly in English. USCIS is planning to provide applicants with study materials for the proposed test to include a civics-based vocabulary list, and the sentences will focus on history and civics topics. The proposed format for the new civics test will consist of 100 civics questions and answers. Applicants must answer 6 out of 10 questions correctly in order to pass the test. The English-speaking portion of the test will include questions normally asked during the naturalization interview. Here are some sample questions and the correct answers from the new test. What does "we the people" mean in the Constitution? The power of government comes from the people. What does the Constitution do? It sets up the government and protects basic rights of Americans. What does freedom of religion mean? You can practice any religion you want or not practice at all. Why do we have 3 branches of government? So that no branch is too powerful. The president must be born in what country? The United States. Name one responsibility that is only for United States citizens. They can vote and serve on a jury. The path to United States citizenship can be a long and hard journey. The citizenship interview can be nerve-wracking and anxiety-producing. We hope that the information we have presented in this video will help you become more informed, more confident, and less anxious as you complete your journey to citizenship in this, the greatest country on earth. On behalf of JFES of Middlesex County and the New Jersey Bar Association, I'm Debbie Alter, wishing you the best of luck and hoping to greet you soon as my fellow citizen.